Hey, good afternoon. It's Bob from Trade Genius. If you guys were watching me live there for a second, I accidentally uh, deleted the recording because I had an earlier one there and I deleted the wrong one. So sorry about that. I will try it again. And first, I want to do is wish my fellow Marines a happy birthday and over 200 years of serving our country. And I really appreciate all the people that are in harm's way right now. And I just wish for your safe return and successful endeavors. In the I guess Afghanistan and Iraq, where you guys are fighting today. Hey, but what I wanted to talk about was the election a little bit, and really just give my view of why I thought Trump won and Hillary lost. And I think it really boils down is that the the uh, the progressives and the left fought the wrong opponent, and I think they were fighting the old war, which what happens to a lot of people, especially people with a lot of hubris. They first of all, they thought Trump was a lightweight, and they probably thought they were fighting a left right liberal conservative, and they think they won that war a long time ago, where people are now are more quote unquote open to all these social things that are moving on here. But they missed a few things, and they missed two things. They don't really understand Maslow's law of personal well-being. They thought people were higher up on that hierarchy than they are, and many people that don't live in the echo chambers of L.A., San Francisco, Chicago, New York, and Washington D.C. are are on a different plane than the rest of the country, and you saw it on the map. And number two is that those people felt really their economic survival is at stake. When people can't afford to even go to the doctor because the ACA is going to move their out of pocket and their rates to such a point where it's just not even worth having insurance anymore. Then people are feeling like you know I mean their lives are at risk, and that was number one. Number two is that the left has this fetish with immigration of extremely poor people that don't match the culture, and just massively inserting them into a population, and then turning around and calling the people that have been imposed upon racist because they don't know how to deal with what is happening to them, especially when now they're competing with these same people for jobs and their own economic survival. And then this whole climate change thing is, people correctly understood it's just a ruse to move decision making and authority and accountability outside the country to places unknown. We don't even know who these people are that are in the UN, and so people are sitting there going, okay, we're going to have people who are from a foreign country are going to determine my economic well-being when they don't have my economic well-being at heart. And these are some of the same people that are on human rights commissions that enslave women, that are people who regularly pollute their country into extinction, and they're going to be the people that are going to tell us what we're going to do and how we're going to live. And then you have the Europeans who are telling people how many pieces of bread they could put in their toaster, and so the left just totally missed this, and so they're fighting against the left right conservative liberal thing, and they totally missed that Trump was appealing to people's self survival instincts, and a national tendency versus a global tendency. And so people weren't ready to jump on the Star Trek agenda and live the Gene Roddenberry life of having no cash and having a basic income and self actualizing. People correctly understood that that's not going to happen. It really means they're just simply going to be enslaved. And so I think that's why Trump won. I mean, if Trump did not have the unfortunate conversations about women that got recorded, and you could judge those good, bad, and different. I'm talking strictly the politics standpoint. If that never came out, he probably would have won even a greater margin of victory. I just think a lot of people were kind of put off by that, but enough people were not. And in fact, the polling data showed that. It's interesting. We heard people say they called it a white lash, but less white people voted for Trump than they did for Romney, and more blacks and more Hispanics than Romney. So it was deeper than that. And I think a lot of Christians came out at the end, even though they oppose his morality, as I do. I'm a Christian, but I'm not stupid. There's a greater evil out there in our view, and somebody who's simply going to extinguish my borders and my way of life and my beliefs at the altar of their worldview. We picked the lesser poison, and I think Trump will grow into the job. And I am definitely, as I'm a very conservative Christian guy, and I am totally on board with him massively spending infrastructure on union jobs to get people working again, because we're at the point where we're almost ready to lose it as a country, and we gotta change gears. And so I think that's the big thing that happened. And the other thing is that that people are not appreciating is that things have changed. Peter Brandt put out a pyramid. It looks like a pyramid, a chart showing that people's appetite for trade and for immigration had fell, which means people are going to ground. This natural tendency for people to be around people like them, and this whole notion, like I said, of Star Trek is just not natural, and so people are getting more base because they're scared. And it's not just America, so this can't be hung on us. It's more than America. Europe's that way right now, and many places in Asia are extremely, what we would call xenophobic, which I don't mean that pejoratively. I mean that they want to be around their own kind. And so I think this is just a natural thing happening. People correctly understand that trade isn't good for them. Trade is only good for the people that are closest to the power center. And so that was the other thing too. And then now we're having a shift. And so the Federal Reserve, if Hillary would have won this election, she would have not gotten anything done. The Federal Reserve is pretty much out of bullets. What they're doing is not working. It would just exacerbate the problem of assets getting too expensive for people to be able to afford their rents. And so with Trump coming along, people are quietly happy. They'll never admit it to you, but those on the left that understand economics are exactly ecstatic, because they know now he's going to pump a lot of money into the economy. The banks are going to be able to lend again. The Federal Reserve can raise interest rates, and I think it's going to lift the economy up and give people a runway here until we can figure out whether or not this thing is going to push forward. And so, if they could keep productivity and growth ahead of, energy costs and rate increases, we might buy ourselves a year or two here to see if we can get any kind of a lift off and get some policies in place to shrink government as a share of the economy and the interest costs and try to move this economy forward. I'm certainly willing to give that a shot. I just knew the Hillary option wasn't going to work for anybody else, and it's not going to work for my family. And so anyway, I'm just now I'm just rambling, so I'm going to cut it off here. But I just want to give you my thoughts on the election, and now it's time to move on. And I'm excited. It's going to be some really interesting trades that are going to come about, and we're going to have to get through probably a good 30 or 45 days of some really big shifts here in the economy when we move from financialization to commodity based. And so check back with me on, real estate is not going to be a winner next year. Natural gas for climate reasons, and energy for growth, and base metals for the infrastructure, and eventually, gold and silver will move higher when people start seeing the inflation coming. Anyways, Bob from Trade Genius. I hope you guys have a great night, and I'm going to enjoy this beautiful evening here and relax a little bit. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.